Hello there, everybody, and today I'm finally here to talk about Scream 6. So, ever since I started these 2023 reviews, I think Scream 6 is probably the number one I've been most looking forward to talking about. Besides the Marvel movies, Scream 6 is like the whole Scream franchise is a franchise I really love. Like, I always thought I wasn't into horror movies until I watched all the Scream movies. And I gotta say, this movie I really love. And a lot of people are divided over the Scream 5 and 6. I don't know if you like it or you don't like it, but all opinions are valid. But anyway, this movie came out in March of 10th of 2023. So I don't know why I skipped this movie in theaters. I think I watched it on Paramount. I think I was probably just saving it for the Mario movie, but me and my friend totally should have saw Scream 6. But with the drama of Scream 7, we don't even know what the future is for Scream, but I'll get into that in a bit later in the video, but anyway, let's talk about this movie. So this has a whole bunch of cast members in this movie, all coming together for Scream 6, and it all takes place in New York, not Woodsboro. Usually all the Scream movies, Scream 1 and 2, took place, I think, Woodsboro. Wait, no, Woodsboro, the first one, the second one, college, the third one, I think that movie set in LA, the fourth one, back to Woodsboro, and the fifth one, this one they're going to the bigger limits, the city, and it's a perfect opportunity for our characters to be chased by Ghostface, who has returned to go after Sam and Tara ever since what has happened in the last movie. And so I might as well go over beat by beat for scene by scene. But it opens with Samara Weaving. She gets I guess you can say, not really a cameo, a brief appearance in the opening, where she gets a phone call by someone who she thinks she's going on a date with. But she's lured outside, and she goes into a dark alley where her boyfriend, who sounds very familiar, then puts on the voice changer of the sinister voice. And she goes how it's not funny, how how he's making references to how she goes into a dark alley, and that you're not supposed to do that in horror movies. But it's too late, as she is jump scared by someone in a Ghostface costume, and she is stabbed and brutally murdered. By the way, we're going to get into some graphic details about this movie, so there's your warning. And spoilers. But here's the big one. For the first time in a Scream movie, the person takes off their mask, but you think this is going to be the killer. We'll get into it. But literally, it's revealed to be this guy. I don't know. I think his name is Jason. He's played by Tony Rossoni from the Spider-Man Tom Holland trilogy. Yeah, I was surprised he was in this movie. But he goes home after he bumps into Tara, played by the awesome Jenna Ortega. And he agrees to go to her party, but he goes home in his apartment with his roommate. But he gets a call, which is revealed to be Ghostface's voice again. And we don't know if this is his roommate or not. But he tries to lure him to where he is. And he does the warmer, colder, if you know what I'm saying. And then he opens a fridge. And we get graphic details of his roommate in a fridge. And literally Jason is brutally murdered, which is revealed to be the Ghostface. And then we get the title card, literally, Scream 6. So, yeah, that was a good twist at the opening, I'm not gonna lie. And, we get this sadistic killer who's obsessed with the Scream movies, who wants to go after Sam and Tara, but it turns out we were thinking he was gonna be the killer the whole time. But no, he's killed by Ghostface, and we don't know who it is yet until later in the movie. But it mainly opens with Sam at counseling, and this is interesting since the counselor, he's not very good at his job. he is just, I think he's just not really giving Sam advice, or well, not really advice, but not really guidance. He's like kind of pushing her to bring out the details of what has happened since the last movie. And so Sam, being a little too afraid at first, she does open up, and it spooks the counselor to his cold or core or something, whatever you want to call it. But he ends up saying the session is over, and he's saying he has to call the police. But Sam's like, nope. But she decides to leave, and she decides to go find where Tara is. And that's where she bumps into her roommate, Quinn, played by Liana Roberta. I think that's how you say her name. But she tells Sam that she's at a party. And so Sam is disappointed. But Tara's having a good time at her party, at this frat party. And we see the return of the Meeks twins, Chad and Mindy, who are partying per usual. And we also meet Ethan Langry, who is in Avatar 2. Yeah, played by Jack Champion. And they're partying, but a guy takes advantage of Tara, and he tries to, do it with Tara. But Chad tries to get him away from Tara until Sam shows up, and then she tases the man in the balls. It's funny. But apparently Sam is now, there's this online rumor that Sam is the killer from the last movie, but she's defending herself. And when she bumps into a group of frats who try to call her a murderer, and she gets into a little fissy over it. And she does argue with Tara, because Tara's trying to make her own decisions, and she doesn't like Sam interfering. But it's just like a tangent between the two sisters, as Sam just wants to show she cares for Tara, but Tara just wants to do her own thing. I literally repeated myself. But they do go to back to their apartment, and they're bummed. But we get a tangent between Tara and Chad, who have developed romance tendencies towards each other, and Sam also has romantic tendencies towards I think one of her roommates, someone who lives right across from her door. This guy, I forget his name. I'd have to look it up. But things take a turn when they get a news report of the two boys that we saw in the opening, who have been brutally murdered. And Sam decides that she must leave New York, and then Tara's like, no, this could be coincidence. But saying how it's a big city, and then Sam's like, no. But everyone tries to de-escalate, but it isn't until Sam gets a call after she's told to go to the police station for questioning, and Tara decides to tag along, and she's like, can I come along? And then Sam's like, no. But then she says yes. But that's where they do get a call from Ghostface, and it's really used by the killer from the last movie, Richie Kirsch. But they get a call, and they do bump into Ghostface. Yeah, and he is probably the most brutal in this movie. That's what I like to talk about. The Ghostface is like literally terrifying in this movie, as he always is. Like, you don't know who he's gonna kill, but his tactics in this one, they're like, it's like more brutal. There's more gruesome kills. I mean, yeah, the last ones did have gruesome kills, but this one, they're actually showing like the gore and like all that gross stuff. But Sam and Tara get into like this goose chase with Ghostface, where they go into like convenience store, and I think the Ghostface literally stabs a rude customer, and then like he grabs the store owner's shotgun, and he starts shooting people, and then like Sam and Tara get into this cool scene where they're in the store and they're having to crawl to see who gets where. But it's kind of like Jurassic Park, where the two kids had to slowly make their way around the kitchen to avoid one of the dinosaurs. It's like that, but Sam and Tara literally knock the shelves on Ghostface, and then they escape, but they are pulled into questioning, and they were questioned by the officer, who's played by Dermot Mulroney. I think that's how you say his name. I think his name is Officer Wayne Bailey. So, yeah, he's questioning where they've been. They say their alibis, but they're let off the hook, but they still have to stay in New York. But that's where we get the return of, I think, Kirby Reed. So, yeah, Kirby, I actually did like her in Scream 4. I liked how she really likes horror, and her fate was left determined at the end, since Wes Craven, rest in peace, thought Kirby survived at the end of Scream 4, so I guess the directors thought it'd be cool to bring her back, and we do get a little Easter egg in Scream 5 of her survival, but yeah, she's now an FBI agent, and she's now investigating this Ghostface killing, and apparently she does know Sam and Tara from high school, but things take a turn when Sam and Tara try to get out of the press tour, as they are trying to interview them about Ghostface, but they're confronted by the return of Gail Weathers, who has revealed that she wants to stop the killer too, but Sam and Tara are not liking Gail, and I think Sam tries to punch Gail, just like in Scream 1, and I do like where Gail's like, "Oh, nice try, sweetheart," but Tara ends up punching her, and Tara's like, "Oh, stay away from us." And then it's revealed that they're pissed off because Gail wrote a book about what happened, and Sam is just pissed. It seems to be more pissed off about it, but Gail wants to take down Ghostface, but Tara feels she's just only doing it because she's just trying to stay relevant, and maybe there's some truth to that, since Gail is trying. I mean, it was revealed in the first movie that she was trying to prove Cotton Weary's innocence, but honestly, she could just be doing it for the money, the whole Ghostface thing. But she's been through a lot, so maybe it makes sense for Gail's motives. But so the big elephant in the room in this movie, that there is no Sydney. So no Neb Campbell. She did not join this movie because money dispute, but it turns out she's going to be in Scream 7, so we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about Sydney not being in the movie. I can kind of see why they didn't have her in the movie, since it's not really her story anymore, since it just like all wrapped up. Well, technically it wrapped up in Scream 3, but then they brought it back in for the 4th movie, and then Sydney got reintroduced in the 5th one, but it was more a Sam story. But yeah, I'm not too bummed that she wasn't in the movie, but it's fine, since I feel this movie, one of the best parts of this movie, I felt more of the chemistry between the friend group in this movie, since one of the main issues I had with Scream 5 was I felt the other side characters kind of didn't really have much character to them, like Chad and Mindy, but in this movie, I feel they get to shine more. And one of the best scenes is when Mindy goes full Randy mode at the park, and she actually states what's gonna happen. And I do like how she states how we're in a franchise. She starts saying who the suspects could be, and she says our characters die, so our future characters can live on. That's a good point. She names like Iron Man, Luke Skywalker, plenty of others, but yeah, those are nice references and all. But I think I'm going to jump a little, but things do take a turn for the worst once everyone is back at home. But Sam is dealing with all the hate she's getting about this whole people thinking she's Ghostface. But it's literally a rumor that they think she orchestrated the whole thing when she didn't. But Ghostface literally, I think, goes after the therapist, and we get like this weird like feet shots with the therapist. I don't know what was that all about, but he's brutally killed through the eye. Like he gets stabbed, and then the Ghostface like takes the notes of Sam and we don't know what he's gonna do with that. But I think while Wayne and Kirby are investigating the whole who could it be, and I do like the scene where they put the pie chart of like all the characters. I don't know why I said pie chart, but they have all the pictures of the previous Ghostface, and they just use pictures of the actors and their face shots or something. But things take a turn once they're at the apartment after Sam's still dealing with the hate, and we get introduced to the core four, as they're called, which is Sam, Tara, Mindy, and Chad, who have come together and face whatever they got to deal with. And I do like the scene where Chad tells them how they're dealing with and coping with what they've gone through. And yeah, he seems very humble. That's what I like about Chad. But things do take a turn when when Ghostface appears in Quinn's room and he's ready to go nuts. And Sam's boyfriend across the street, he literally sees what's going on while he's doing laundry, and he sees Ghostface, and then I think he does prevent from Ghostface from attacking Quinn, but the Ghostface does attack Quinn, and he throws her in. If you think Quinn's dead, and the way they killed her was like brutal. They even show like a text message while the gang's all hanging out. They're having a good time trying to contact the boy. I think I know his name now. His name is Danny. Now I remember. But he tries to call them, but once they find Quinn, they realize Ghostface is in the house, and they try to grab their knives holders, but they realize it's all gone. Someone took them. And we get this intense scene where Ghostface breaks in. I think only Tara and Chad are able to escape the main room, but Sam, Mindy, and their other friend, I forget her name. I'm sorry, but she gets stabbed by Ghostface and Mindy through the shoulder, and they try to barricade the door. But their only means of escape is when Sam is forced to climb a ladder that Danny has put out, since they had to climb their way to his apartment. But it's very dangerous. Apparently the scene wasn't going to be in the movie, but they put it in anyway. But Sam successfully gets across to the other room, but Ghostface is just banging this door like crazy, and then I think the one girl unfortunately falls off to her death as Mindy goes into the other window, barely escaping, and she unfortunately dies. And we do get this cryptic line from Wayne later when they investigate what has happened, and he's saying, "You mess with my family, you die." But Gail does return after what has happened, and Kirby introduces herself, and they get a new suspect, Ethan, played by Jack Champion, as I said earlier, but they suspect him, and I'll get to that in a bit, but he makes his excuse that he was with other people when he was studying or whatever at the campus. But what happens next is Gail was able to investigate and find a room full of a bunch of Easter eggs. But it's like this one room that has like a bunch of memorabilia of basically the Scream franchise. We get like stab references, the fictional universe of Scream. We get pictures of the other characters. We get a picture of Dewey, which was nice. We got Sydney. That's the only thing we get from Sydney. And we get this trophy room of all the Ghostface costumes and who all wore them. And we see the main one who has the spotlight, and it's Billy Loomis, who Sam is still having visions of. And we see D.H. Skeet Ulrich, who looks awesome in this movie, even though it's just a brief, I guess you can say, cameo. But he tells Sam that she has to embrace her inner demons and become the killer she was meant to be. But Sam is saying no. But yeah, I actually really like this scene. It's just like, it's a bunch of cool stuff, and honestly, if I came to that place in New York, found that place, I'd probably think it's like it's super awesome. I would just look at all the stuff, and we even see like the knife that stabbed Kirby. But yeah, we get a few talking scenes with the movie kind of slows down a bit as we see Kirby get along with Mindy. They talk about their favorite horror movies, and they start naming like other horror movies. But yeah, Sam and Gail someone have a nice talk about their mom, and they kind of bond over that. I kind of felt that bond in Scream 5 where they were bonding after Sheriff Judy died. But things take a turn once they go to the park to find the phone signal of the killer. And I do like where Mindy points out how they're in a van when they're trying to trace Ghostface's phone signal, but then Mindy points out how like their uncle died, Randy. It was a nice callback to Randy, and how he died in a news van in the middle of the park. And so yeah, this movie kind of like follows what they did with Scream 2. They're acknowledging that. That's what I like about it. And some people will probably point out how they're probably going to say how this movie copies the other Scream movies, but then again, the Scream movies have always had a formula. It's like these 5 and 6 feel like a love letter to the first 4 movies. That's what I respect about it. But they do track the phone signal, but it's revealed that it's at Gail's apartment, who was told to go away because no press. But next is we get this awesome scene with Gail where she has to fight for her life against Ghostface. She gets a call from him, and she's just taking it seriously immediately. And the Ghostface points out how Gail should have been a Ghostface, and honestly, I don't even think she should have been Ghostface, and she actually ends up getting a little emotional when he brings up Dewey, Sydney. But the Ghostface ends up taking out, I think Gail's boyfriend, bodyguard. It's not really established, but he crashes through glass and he dies. And Ghostface chases Courtney Cox, and she ends up shooting him a few times. But she's like, nice try for nostalgia or something. But I think Ghostface then almost kills Gail. And it's left up for interpretation if she dies. I do like the line where Sam and Tara both show up and they save Gail from getting stabbed, and she says to tell Sydney that he never got her. So yeah. So I don't think Gail died. I think she was just injured, but thank goodness she didn't die. Because if she died, then that means all the other original members probably died. But it'd be, I guess you can say a good sacrifice if she did die. But that was a really good scene. But I think what leads to the finale is we get this intense train sequence. And but they end up getting separated. I think Sam, Tara, Chad, and Danny stick together, but Mindy is trapped with Ethan. And she mainly stays back because she's afraid he's gonna, because she thinks he's the killer. She even texts about it to Chad. But we get a bunch of cool cameos, people dressed like Ghostface and stuff. We get a Freddy Krueger. I think we even see Wednesday Addams. So yeah, those were cool cameos, but I do like the scene where there's a Ghostface staring at Mindy. And every time the lights flicker, it flashes to the Ghostface, and then I think Mindy ends up getting stabbed. And it was definitely a cool sequence. But Ethan shows up, and he's like, oh my goodness, Mindy. Okay, so this sounds like a nitpick, but, I didn't understand. It's, kind of spoilery, but, maybe I'll get to that once we get to who the killer is, which we're going to get into. But they go back to the place of the museum to find out where, because Ghostface called her, Sam, and told her to come, and unless they want us to keep going on. So Sam agrees to meet the killer, but they all stick together, and they tell Danny to stay behind because since they suspect that he could be the killer too, which is a good point. And he's like, you know what? And he's also given the message you know what? Never trust anybody. Yeah, and so he walks away, and as everyone is gathered together in this place, but but Sam gets a phone call from Bailey saying how Kirby was fired from the FBI for being unstable, but this is revealed to be a trap. As Sam and Tara are ambushed by Ghostface, and they try to escape, but Chad ends up getting stabbed brutally to death. And they'll get into another nitpick later, but as Sam and Tara are surrounded by the ghost faces, they even clean their knives. We get revealed of who the killer is as Kirby comes out of nowhere saying it's okay. But they think she did it. But as she says, Ghostface knocked her out. But that's where Wayne Bailey shows up. And he ends up shooting Kirby. And it's revealed, big spoiler, that it was Wayne Bailey, Ethan, and it's revealed who to be alive is Quinn, who we thought died. And it's revealed that they're all related to Richie Kirsch, who are out for revenge on Sam and Tara ever since they killed Richie. And they're here to finish his film. And we get this footage of Jack Quaid, who looking younger. I don't know where they got that footage. He's not even in archive credit for some reason. But it could have just been some old footage of Jack Quaid. So, interesting. But they are going full nuts. They've gone crazy. And we get this finale where Sam and Tara have to fight for their lives against the two. And they get on top of the balcony. But Tara ends up slipping. But because there's blood all over them, it's hard for them to hold on to each other. But we get this nice scene where, Tara tells Sam... She told her earlier in the movie saying, you gotta let me go. And then she tells her, you got to let me go. So Sam learns to trust Tara. She gives her, I think, a knife. And then Sam has a gun. But Tara ends up stabbing Ethan through the jaw. And I do like the line where she said, you died a virgin. So yeah, that was badass of Tara. She also didn't apologize for punching Gail earlier. I don't know why I forgot to say that. But she's like, I'm not sorry. So yeah, Tara's a badass in this movie, just like Jenna Ortega. But yeah, I think Sam ends up shooting Quinn through the head. She's like, always do it for the head. But she runs out of bullets as Bailey and the two jump at each other, and they fall off the balcony and crash. Then Wayne wakes up, wondering what has happened, but then he gets a call. And it's the Ghostface voice, and it's Sam's phone who calls. And she's like, you're in my movie now. And she jumps out in a Ghostface costume and stabs Wayne. And she takes off her mask, and she's like, no matter what you think, I'm not my father. And then she accepts who she is, and she stabs Wayne through the eye, and yeah, he dies. It's brutal. He brutally stabbed and murdered. So yeah, this movie was not playing around with the deaths. But Sam and Tara end up hugging, I think, and they tell each other that they love each other, and they're always going to be there for each other. And the movie ends with Sam dropping the Ghostface mask, and it's revealed that Mindy survived and Chad. Yeah, so here comes my major issue. So Chad somehow survived all those stab wounds. And some people complain about the whole lightsaber stab thing in Star Wars, but that's a different story. But I remember I had a counselor, I don't know if I should mention this, but I had a counselor who saw this movie, and he told me how he said it's a good movie, but he didn't understand how anyone can survive that many stab wounds. And yeah, I agree. And I wonder why Ethan didn't do anything when he helped Mindy get up after she was stabbed. That was a nitpick I had. But overall, that's it for Scream 6. And very unfortunately, Melissa Barrera was unfortunately fired for Scream 6 because of some social media posts. Very unfortunate, since I was really looking forward to seeing Sam and Tara's story continue. But honestly, this story kind of ended on a send-off to the characters at the end. And we get this song, Staying Alive or something. That was a Still Alive, I'm pretty sure it's called. But yeah, that's Scream 6. It was an awesome movie. A lot of intensity in this movie, a lot of scares, a lot of fun references. And I might as well talk about Jenna Ortega for a bit, but yeah, I thought she was awesome in this movie. Some of her best lines, and I really felt her chemistry with Sam in this movie. It's unfortunate that she won't be returning to the character. It might be because of the whole Melissa Barrera drama thing. And Melissa Barrera is also awesome in this movie. And they're both very cute, very awesome characters. So I don't know what they're going to do with Sam and Tara in the next movie. They honestly probably won't even acknowledge them. And it's nice that they did a Scream movie. And they kind of just did their own thing. And they explored the newer characters a lot more. The next generation of Scream characters. It's unfortunate that we probably won't see them again. But it was a nice send-off. So I'd give Scream 6 probably a 9 out of 10. But, yeah, that might be a little too high, but my opinion, I love this movie since I'm a big Scream fan. But the next review I'm doing is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm super excited to talk about that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.